Okay, number 1. So we're dividing using long division. So we just write what we're dividing outside. So n plus 5 on the outside. And then under the bracket, we write the rest of it. So 4n squared plus 20n plus 5. Now we need to see what times n gives us 4n squared. Yes?
Wait, you don't change the sign?
No. For long division, you don't change the sign.
And what's long division? It's like
The one we're doing now.
The stuff we were doing before short division?
It's synthetic division is the other one.
Oh my.
yeah, but like how do you like how
Okay, so what times n gives us n? 4n squared. 4n. So we're going to write the 4n on top of the other n term. So we keep them all in line. So now we multiply what's on top with what's out front. So we multiply the 4n times n, which is 4n squared, and 4n times 5, 20n. And now we have to change the signs to get them to cancel out. So our goal is to get the first two to cancel out. So the 4n squared and 4n squared cancel out. And now we add the second two. So what's 20n minus 20n? 0. So now what times n gives us 0? 0. So now we have a plus 0 up here. And now we multiply the 0 by what's out front. So what's 0 times n?
0.
And what is 0 times 5?
0.
0. So now we add these, and we get 0. And we bring down the 5. So what is 5 plus 0? 5. So our remainder, once we run out of room over here, it's our remainder is 5. So the number we have left is going to be our remainder. So our answer here is 4n, remainder 5.
I'm lost.
Yep.
Wait. I just don't get what's the difference. Isn't like the same thing?
Okay, so now let's do number 2. What are we going to write first? N plus 2. And then what goes on the inside? 5n cubed plus 11n squared minus 2n minus 13. So now what times n gives us 5n cubed? 5n squared. So now we multiply the 5n squared by n plus 2. So what's 5n squared times n? 5n cubed. And then 5n squared times 2 is 10n squared. We have to change the sign, so this becomes negative and this becomes negative. And now we combine the two. So we have 10n squared minus 10n squared. 11n squared minus 10n squared, which gives us 1n squared. So now what times n gives us n squared? N. And now we multiply n times n plus 2. So n times n is n squared, and then n times 2, 2n. And now we need to change the signs again. So these cancel out. And then we combine these two. So we have negative 2n minus 2n. And what does that give us? Negative 4n. So what times n gives us negative 4n? Negative 4. And now we multiply what we wrote on top times what's out front. So we have negative 4 times n, which is negative 4n, and negative 4 times 2, which is negative 8. Now we need to change the signs again, so they become positive and positive. These are going to cancel out. And then we add these two together. So we have negative 13 plus 8, and that is negative 5. So our remainder is negative 5. So this is our answer. Okay, let's do synthetic division now, and we'll see the difference. So divide using synthetic division. So the first thing we do here is we take the number and we change the sign. So since it's a -5, we have to make it a +5. So the important part in synthetic division is that you change the sign of what goes outside the box, because if you don't change the sign, you're going to get the whole question wrong. So you need to change the sign. And next, we just write all the coefficients in our box. But it's important that we have every term, a number for every term. So we have an n cubed, an x cubed, and x squared, but we don't have an x all by itself. So what can we put for the x all by itself?
What do you mean by that? Can you say it again?
So, okay, if we have an x cubed, we need an x squared, an x, and a number. If we have an x squared, we need an x and a number. So we have to have everything in order after it. So in this one here, we don't have an x term. Like we don't have a number in front of an x. So we need to add that x term in it. So how can we add an x term in here? We add a 0x. So we're going to add a 0. So we write our first term, our number in front of the first term, which is 4. Then we have -20, then 0, and then -7. So in synthetic division, we're just writing the numbers. And now we drop the 4 down. So 5 times 4 is 20. -20 plus 20 is 0. 5 times 0, 0. 0 plus 0, 0. 5 times 0, 0 again. And -7 plus 0, -7. So remember, our last number here is always going to be the remainder. And then this is our number, this is our x, and this is our x squared. So it goes in the same order. But we're always going to have one less x term in our answer than what our question had. So since we started with x cubed, our answer is going to start with x squared. So our answer is going to be 4x squared. This is 0, so we don't have an x term, we don't have a number, and it's just remainder is -7.
So the last one's always right?
The last one is always the remainder. Okay, ready for number 4? So what's the first thing we're going to do here? Change the sign. So we make that a +4. And then what's going to go inside the box? 9, -44, and 28. So now we bring down the 9 and put it on the outside. And we multiply, and we get 36. So 36 minus 44 is -8. 4 times -8 is -32. And then we get -4. So our last number is the remainder. This one's our number, and then this one's our x. So since we started with a squared, our answer is just going to be a. So it's going to be one less than what we started with. So we have 9a minus 8, remainder of -4. For the last 6 problems, you can solve them any way you want, but if you are having problems with long division, I would suggest practicing long division on the review. So on the answers that I'll post on Canvas after school, I'll do it in long division and synthetic division so you can check your work there. Do you guys want me to go over any of these in long division or synthetic? Which one do you guys want practicing?
Maybe one more long division.
Which number?
5.
All right, let's do 5 long division.
Wait, no. 6.
All right, let's do 6 long division. Are we missing any terms?
Do 8.
Let's do 6 and then we'll do 8.
This time.
Are we missing any terms here?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are we missing? just an x, or here we have an r. So we're missing 0r. So outside we're going to do r plus 4, and inside we have r cubed plus 4r squared plus 0r minus 3. You only change the sign for synthetic division. So only change the sign for synthetic. So what times r gives us r cubed?
3, no, cube. R cube.
R squared. Remember, our answer is going to have one less term than what we started with. So we're not going to have an r cubed term on top. So now we multiply r squared times r, which is r cubed, and r squared times 4, which is 4. R squared. Now we need to change the signs to get them to cancel out. So our first terms cancel,
Yeah.
and then we add the next two. So 4r squared minus 4r squared gives us
0.
0. So now what times r gives us 0?
0.
0. So now we multiply 0 times r plus 4, which gives us 0 plus 0. We combine these two. So 0r plus 0 is 0. What times r gives us 0? 0. So again, we have 0 plus 0. And now we combine these two. So negative 3 plus 0, negative 3. So our remainder is negative 3. It seems kind of redundant to put all of these zeros here, but it just helps you hold the place. So you might get zeros for a while, but then the numbers are going to start back eventually. So just continue doing the same pattern you were with the zeros until you get to a number. So our answer here is r squared with the remainder of negative 3. So for the zeros, we don't have to put in our answer.
Can we just do number 5?
Yep. So number 5, long division.
Yeah.
So we're going to write r plus 6 on the outside and r squared plus 15r plus 46 on the inside. So what times r gives us r squared? R. So now we multiply the r times r, which is r squared, and then 6r. And now we need to change the signs so we get them to cancel out. So they cancel here. And now we have 15r minus 6r.
9R.
And we get 9r. So now what times r gives us 9r?
9.
9. And now we multiply. 9 times r gives us
9R.
9r, and 9 times 6? 54. So now we need to change the signs so these cancel out, so they both become negative. Our 9r's cancel out, and we combine the 46 and the negative 54. And what are we left with?
8.
Negative 8. So our answer is r plus 9 with the remainder of negative 8.